Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Caps on Comics. I'm Kenny Caps, and tonight we're going to be discussing Barbarians. Let's get started. Alright, so Conan the Barbarian may be best known for being played by Arnold Schwarzenegger on the big screen, but he has appeared in a ton of sword and sorcery books and comic books. First appearing in Weird Tales magazine in 1932, Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian landed in Marvel in 1970. So many of the original comic books based on Conan were actually adaptations of Howard's stories. And you can thank Roy Thomas for keeping Conan pretty faithful to its source material. Eventually, Marvel gave up on Conan, and from 2003 to 2018, the rights to Conan and all of his stories were owned by Dark Horse, and they did a lot with the Barbarian during this time. All of this reawakened people's interest in him, and this eventually led to a new movie in 2011. In 2018, Marvel repurchased the rights for Conan. So maybe they have a plan for Conan somewhere down the line, or want the rights to the character just in case. But either way, because Conan isn't a superhero or in Marvel's main roster, he's kind of this overlooked character. Alright, up next we have Red Sonja. Red Sonja was created by Roy Thomas and Barry Windsor Smith for Marvel Comics in 1973. She was partially based on Robert E. Howard's character of Red Sonja of Rogatino, a female swashbuckler from the 1934 short The Shadow of the Vulture. Debuting in Conan the Barbarian number 23, Thomas created a new origin story for her and moved her from Howard's original Red Sonja timeline of the 16th century to the Hyborian Age, this fictitious age that Howard created for Conan, which scholars collectively believe to be in the time frame of about 10,000 BC. By doing so, you can have Red Sonja interact with Conan and, compare armor and swords and stuff. And speaking of armor, what's up with hers? Well, most artists depict Red Sonja wearing a very brief chainmail bikini costume of scale armor, usually with like boots and gauntlets. However, originally drawn by Barry Smith in Conan number 23 and 24, she didn't have a full figure and dressed a little more conservatively in long sleeve male shirt and short pants of red silk. Obviously, that style did not last for long. As told by Roy Thomas, Spanish artist Esteban Morado submitted an uncommissioned illustration to him when he was editing The Savage Sword of Conan. This was another title that would have been eventually be printed after Conan the Barbarian, and that was in black and white and intended for a more mature audience. Right? So Morado redesigned the character, and for the first time showed her wearing what would become her famous costume, the silver metal bikini. Red Sonja has appeared in tons of comic books, either solo or together with Conan. And in 1985, a feature film starring Bridget Nielsen was released, and since then, there have been other television and animated adaptations. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. These can't be the only barbarians out there, right? Well, of course not. So, just from Marvel, there's Cull of Atlantis, or Cull the Conqueror, depending on what you want to call him. There's Archon, Killraven, Star the Slayer, and Kronak. And then from DC, you have Warlord, then you have Claw the Unconquered, and Stalker. Well, that wraps up for another episode of Caps on Comics. Tell me below what you thought, and if you have a favorite barbarian. Maybe I've forgotten some. Who knows? Also, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.